Back Road Ministry, the world premiere, Mr. Monty coming live and direct. Back at you again. How's everybody doing? Beautiful, beautiful Wednesday morning. Looking forward to some changes in my life. So, a lot of energy right now. A lot of enthusiasm right now. But I want to get back into the thing that I love, which is hip hop. And Kendrick Lamar winning the Pulitzer Prize, being the first rap artist to do so. And this is a pretty big event and a very symbolic event as to the crowning of Kendrick Lamar as the new king of hip hop. Now, some might say, well, Jay is the king or this guy's the king. No, none of those guys were the kings. There was one king of hip hop, and he passed away in 1996, and that was Tupac. So that's my opinion. That's the opinion I'm sticking with. Everybody else, you can have yours. But there was one true king of hip hop, and that was Tupac, because Tupac pretty much embodied the kind of that spirit of hip hop and rap music, that the consciousness piece that a lot of us loved about hip hop, bringing the positive, was able to mix some negativity into it, and kind of be the whole of society and represent the whole of society, but left something. The issue I have with artists like Jay-Z is that, I remember some Jay-Z songs, and I probably can give you a verse or the choruses, but Jay-Z never really wrote a song. That's the issue. He never really wrote a song. He never really wrote things that stick with the listener. These are songs that can pass from generation to generation to generation. They got Hard Knock Life, but that's more chorus than actual lyrics. It's not about anything. Tupac left songs. He left things that if I play today, they will move to the next generation, because they are things that people couldn't relate to on a day-to-day basis. Brenda's Got a Baby is a song that's always going to be a generational song. There's always going to be a Brenda. There's always going to be a young lady in a family like that. And the sad piece is that society, in our hopes, we were able to change and get to a level where we can eliminate the Brendas of the world. We're always going to have love for our mothers. And our mothers are not perfect. And Dear Mama kind of reminds you, that's a song that reminds us that mothers are not perfect, mothers make mistakes. But they still have our support. They still love us. Sometimes we let them down. These are generational songs. These are songs that no matter what age you are now, when they're played, they're going to stick with the listener. They're going to stick with the listener. Keep Your Head Up. It's another song about women empowering women. That's something that's generational. It's going to stick with the listener. So that's why Tupac, in my opinion, is the king, because he wrote songs that can be passed on from generation to generation. He left a mark. He left a legacy. And hip-hop is all about a legacy. Be it graffiti, be it dance with break dancing and things like that, ticking, popping. It's ingrained into the legacy of hip-hop. And Tupac ingrained himself as one of the greatest rappers in the history of hip-hop. And now Kendrick Lamar has come along. And Kendrick Lamar, this time, the sad thing about it is, at least Tupac had Biggie. And that was later on in the down the road. But Kendrick really has no competition. There's no one out there on the level of Kendrick. And that's the sad piece of hip-hop today. There's just no one on his level. There's no one on his level right now. There's no one willing to talk about anything. They're not willing to say anything. It's just like this mass production of very dumb rappers. The Cardi B's of the world, the Takeshi Tech Nines, who all they do is brag about gangbanging and blood and cripping. But that's the way the elite want it. The elites who have their puppets running these companies, their design is to create a world of youth in their own image. And unfortunately, their creation is a dumbed down, uneducated, stuck on gang banging. They'll throw a super drug out there for them to sell so they can lock them up and kill them. They really don't care about the inner city youth or the poor Caucasian kid in rural America or the suburban kid who's trying to find them. So they don't care about them. They'll throw Takeshi Tech 9 at them and Cardi B for the girls and flood them with hip hop Atlanta and hip hop New York and all that foolishness just to keep them in a state where they cannot improve themselves. And then they'll tell them, well, you can make money if you act like this. We'll pay you to be a buffoon, basically. So that's pretty much the model of rapping you got today. They say absolutely nothing. They all practice sounding like each other, and no one is willing to go outside the box because they've been told they can't go outside the box. So that's why you really have, no variety in hip hop. You have to go to certain places to get variety. I'm a member of Reverb Nations, where I have a lot of my material. And, at Reverb Nation, there's a lot of variety. There are a lot of good artists there who have not had the ability to shine. Are trying to make it on their own because these labels, they're not going to sign them. They're not ignorant enough. They're not blood and crippin' enough. They're not doing every drug under the sun. They're not destroying their life. They're smart enough to get education, so we can't put them in the station rotation. That's just the mind state. You got these DJs who aren't doing anything. They're not the program manager. Remember, program managers pretty much set the line up. These DJs on the radio ain't got no control over what's going on, what's being played. They got a script too. They've been told, say you like this, say this guy's hot, and that's it. So it was always refreshing, and I wasn't really big on Kendrick when he came. I think with the second album, I kind of started to feel Kendrick and started to really listen to what he was saying. A lot of stuff that he was saying, kind of some generational stuff, swimming pools, talking about alcoholism, and he has found kind of a clever way of talking about alcoholism. A lot of hype rap. There's a lot of hype rap in that album. A lot of good generational songs in that. And as he moves through his career, we see that he gets more and more experimental. Some of his albums, like this third album, is very experimental. So being willing to take a chance on your talent, being willing to do the things that you want to do, that's what talented artists do. Talented artists take chances on their talent, but they try to leave something. One of my favorite songs by Kendrick is "We Gonna Be All Right." No matter what you try to throw at us, no matter what our environment throws at us, if we keep our head in the game, we're gonna be all right. No matter the pressures you throw, we're gonna be all right. And that's generational. That's a song that, if you listen to, it motivates you. Okay, yeah, life is gonna come at you. It's gonna come at you fast. It's gonna come at you furiously. It's gonna suck, but you got to keep pushing. You're gonna be okay. So Kendrick gets the Pulitzer Prize. A lot of people saying, well, why Kendrick, the Pulitzer Prize? The elite have a way of choosing people, and I want Kendrick to be very careful with this because they have chosen him to be pretty much the face of hip-hop. Moving forward, he is the face of hip-hop. He's the biggest artist in rap right now. He is the artist in rap right now. He's going to win the awards because he's got no true competition. Drake is not competition. Drake is pop. Drake is a pop artist. When it comes to Grammys, maybe he will write a great album sooner or later. Drake has the potential to write great albums, but Drake has been so flooded with foolishness that he totally went away from what he was capable of doing. He's got caught up in the dope. He's got caught up in the sex, and he needs to really truly find Drake again. And I don't know what it's going to take for him to find Drake at this time. Drake is kind of lost. He needs to find himself. But as long as you got the lure of money, the lure of pussy, the lure of drugs around you, and somebody whispering in your ear telling you say this and you do this, you'll be rich, it's going to be hard to be real. Kendrick say to stay humble. It's hard to stay humble when people are in your ear telling you, if you do this, I'll give you that. And you go to the fuck parties in LA and you can fuck everything and everybody and do as thy wilt. It's hard to get back to being who you are because you lose who you are. And that happens to a lot of artists. They just lose who they are. The promise of money, the gold, Jesus at the top of the mountain. Only difference with this is, instead of Jesus saying fuck the devil, he accepts the deal. And a lot of these artists do it. A lot of them aren't making money. A lot of them are signed contracts, they're not making money. They gave up the gravy. I talk about in one song, giving up the gravy, which basically means you give up your ass for success, literally. So, and who's to say Kendrick ain't done some of this stuff? Who's to say? Because a lot of these artists, they get down with the ritual because they want to be famous. They want to be the it. But it also takes some talent to be the it. It also takes some work to be the it. And I think Kendrick has put in the work, but I want, Kendrick to be careful that now that he's been chosen, that, they're going to try to dictate how his career goes. That's what they come in and do. Now they want to dictate how your career goes. And he's going to really have to battle to remain true to Kendrick. And that's going to be hard. That's going to be hard. So I think Kendrick's going to have a really, really tough career moving forward, trying to remain Kendrick. But at the same time, trying to play the corporate game. Because the bigger you get and the higher you get in the corporate game, the more they want control. So he needs to be very careful, because if he tries to skew outside the lines, they've been known to destroy you. They destroyed Tupac with the rape thing. The rape thing was designed to destroy Tupac because he skewed too far out the lines. They had people around him to keep him in check. Haitian Jack was there to keep Tupac in check. So once he screwed out the line, Haitian Jack throws the bitch at him and, get him with the rape case. They've done it plenty of times. They tried to get Jay with the stabbing, in which they did, and Jay, from that point on, was subservient. They got Snoop Dogg with the shooting in the park, turned him subservient. So they have ways of getting you in line. And you got to, at that point, decide, which way do I go? Is my career more important than my soul? And that's a question that Kendrick is going to be asked, and he's going to have to answer that question. Right now, he's on top of the game, though, and he is definitely, in my opinion, the new king of hip hop. Mr. Makti, peace and hair grease.